I never thought the words bro code could feel like a knife pressed to my throat. He said it with a smirk, as though the 3 syllables could excuse anything. Every trespass, every betrayal, every filthy thought he'd never had the guts to voice until it was too late. We'd been best friends since we were kids. Jamie and I. Same streets, same bruised knuckles from schoolyard fights, same cheap bottles shared under broken streetlights when the nights stretched too long. We'd sworn by that stupid code before we even understood what it meant. Never snitch, never fight dirty, never touch what belonged to the other. But the thing about codes? They're only sacred until somebody's desperate enough to break them. Started subtle. His hand on the back of my neck one night after too many drinks, holding me longer than he should have. His laugh too close to my ear, breath ghosting against my skin. I told myself I was imagining it, that the heat pooling low in my gut was a trick of alcohol and loneliness. But then his eyes started following me in ways that no bro should look at another. Sharp, hungry, possessive. I tried to ignore it. I told myself it was nothing. But ignoring Jamie was like ignoring a storm. You could pretend the thunder wasn't there, but eventually the lightning would split the sky, and you'd see everything raw and exposed. The night it happened, the air was thick with rain. The city choked under black clouds. We were in his apartment, both of us restless. He was pacing like a caged animal, words biting sharper than usual. "You think you can just keep pretending?" he said suddenly, pinning me with those eyes. "Pretending what?" I asked, though my throat was already dry. "That you don't feel it." I laughed, too loud, too fake. "You're drunk." His smile didn't reach his eyes. "Maybe. But drunk words are sober truths, aren't they?" I felt the room tilt. Every shadow stretched longer, every sound magnified. The drip of the faucet, the low hum of the fridge, and under it all, the pounding of my own heart. I wanted to leave. I should have left. But his hand shot out, grabbed my wrist, and suddenly I wasn't standing by the door anymore. I was pressed against the wall, his grip like iron, his body radiating heat. "Bro code," he whispered, and the way he said it made my skin crawl. "You know what that means, right?" "Yeah," I spat. "It means don't cross the line." His mouth twisted into something cruel. "Or it means, we decide where the line is." And then, he slid inside my life in a way that I couldn't undo. Not with fists, not with curses, not with prayer. The betrayal wasn't just physical. It was in the way he owned the moment, claimed it like it had always belonged to him. As if our years of brotherhood, our code, had all been leading here. I didn't fight him, not because I wanted it, but because part of me had always known he was dangerous enough to take what he wanted. Fighting Jamie was like fighting the ocean. You could thrash, you could scream, but eventually you drowned. When it was over, I didn't recognize myself in the mirror. My reflection looked hollow, haunted, as if some piece of me had been carved out and left in his hands. And he just lit a cigarette, smirking like he'd won a game I hadn't even realized we were playing. "Don't look at me like that," he said. "It's still bro code. Only difference is, now it's just our secret." The smoke curled between us, and I realized then, secrets with Jamie weren't buried. They were weapons. And he'd just armed himself with the sharpest one yet. The days after weren't silence, they were worse. Jamie didn't avoid me. He didn't act guilty. He acted like nothing had changed, like what happened had been just another beer we'd shared. Another fight we'd survived side by side. But every word he spoke, every grin he threw my way, was loaded with that night. And he knew I couldn't forget. He was everywhere. My phone buzzing at 2 a.m. with his name lighting the screen. Waiting outside my work, leaning against his car like he had every right to be there. Sitting too close at the bar, his hand brushing mine deliberately, daring me to pull away. I tried. God, I tried. I told him it couldn't happen again, that we'd gone too far. He just smiled. That slow, mocking curve of his lips that always made my stomach twist. "Relax," he said one night, blowing smoke into the dark. Bro code. Remember? We've always covered for each other. But this wasn't covering. This was smothering. It was like he'd found a switch in me that night and flipped it, and now he was obsessed with watching me short-circuit. Every look lingered too long. Every silence felt like a trap. He didn't ask for permission anymore. He just took space, took air, took pieces of me I hadn't realized I was guarding. And the worst part of me still burned for him. That was the danger Jamie carried, the reason no one ever crossed him. He didn't just use fists, he used hunger, fear, the raw pulse of adrenaline. He made people feel alive in the same breath he made them wish they were dead. One night I snapped. I grabbed him by the collar, shoved him against the same wall he'd pinned me to before. My voice came out low, dangerous. "You don't own me." His eyes lit up. Not with fear, with excitement. Like I'd just given him what he wanted. "Don't I?" he whispered. I shoved harder. "We were brothers. Brothers don't do this." He laughed. A hollow, broken sound. "Brothers don't? Or you don't?" And that was when I realized he wasn't obsessed with what we'd done. He was obsessed with me fighting it. With me fighting him. He thrived on the struggle. "Walk away," I told him. "Whatever this is, it ends here." But Jamie had never been the type to walk away. He was the type to chase, to hunt, to make sure if he couldn't have something, no one else could. The next week I noticed it, subtle at first. The shift in how people looked at me. A friend who avoided my calls. A neighbor's whisper when I passed by. Then came the messages. Screenshots of conversations I'd never had. Pictures of me, blurry, taken from across the street, from behind windows. Things only Jamie could have staged. He was setting traps, weaving lies, and every thread pulled tighter around me. When I confronted him, he just leaned back on his couch, arms spread, calm as a king on his throne. "You think people will believe you over me?" he asked. "You're insane," I hissed. "No," he said, smiling like a wolf. "I'm in control." Big difference. That was when the danger stopped being about him and me. It became about everyone around us. Anyone I spoke to, anyone who got too close. I saw his shadow looming over them. He didn't just want me. He wanted my world, and he wanted me to watch him twist it into something unrecognizable. The fear settled in my chest like a second heartbeat. Couldn't sleep, couldn't eat. Every sound outside my window felt like him. Every knock on my door felt like his fist. And yet, when the phone rang at night, when his name glowed in the dark, I still answered. Because part of me was addicted to it. That was Jamie's greatest betrayal. Not just that he broke bro code, not just that he slid inside my life like a blade, but that he made me complicit. He made me crave the very thing I hated. And when he finally said the words, when he finally leaned in close, eyes burning, voice low, I knew it wasn't a choice anymore. "You're mine," he whispered. Bro code sealed it. There's no getting out now. And the terrifying thing? Deep down, I believed him.